Hello everybody and welcome to ctownvapes. I am Chris and today it's the last stop on the tour of starter kits, at least for now. Today, I'm taking a look at the eVic, what is this? The eVic VTC Mini firmware upgradable. There's more to this. TRON Atomizer starter kit. So there's a lot really to kind of say there. It doesn't really even have an official name on the front of it other than it says variable temperature with changeable battery. So there's a reason I wanted to actually feature this particular starter kit. All of the other ones were kind of already designed for sub-ohming. And that's great if you want to jump right into sub-ohming. However, if you are really new into vaping and you want a mouth-to-lung experience, and this has been the case with both of my parents, neither one of them really are into sub-ohm. My dad's just kind of starting to get into it using a sub-tank nano that I gave him. But he still doesn't use that all the time. He actually uses something very similar to this, one of the other Joytech kind of pen-style kits that lights up. I forget what it's even called. But I got him a couple of those, and he absolutely loves that thing. So this is kind of the starter, but you can grow with it starter kit. And that's why I threw it into the mix, because I think that is particularly important to point out. So let's get to know this a little bit more up close and personal and kind of peel back the layers of the onion and see what comes in the box, see what coils are included. Check out the mod. I went with red, so it's going to be interesting. New color for me. And then go through all the features of the TRON tank that's included with this. To be exact, does it say? The TRON S tank. There's also a TRON T. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between those two. And then we'll go through all the features of the mod, which is the big selling point for this for me and what makes it something you can grow into. So let's do this. Well, all right, so here's the packaging that the eVic VTC Mini kit comes in. You can see it's quite stylish. Looking at the side, you've got the Joytech logo there, kind of reflective a little bit. And then not a whole lot else going on along the sides there, but does show all the different colors and stuff you can get. It is the VTC Mini firmware upgradable version with the TRON Atomizer, the TRON S to be exact on this one. It does show that this configuration includes the VTC Mini, the TRON Atomizer with the 1 ohm CL head. It also comes with the nickel and titanium head, a USB cable, manual, and warranty card. This is the red edition, so let's take a look at that. And wow, red it definitely is. Look at that. That is very, very, very red. So let's go ahead and pop that bad boy out of there. Ooh, it's nice and reflective and just, it just feels nice. I am a huge fan of this particular mod, the eVic VTC Mini mod. I've got a couple of them. I actually damaged the USB port on one of them, so you got to be careful with that. Very easy to use. Just, pop that off to stick in the battery. Really nothing crazy going on at all as far as getting this thing up and rocking and rolling. You do have the fairly clicky button there on the top for firing, and then your temperature buttons there at the bottom. And yeah, we'll go over this more once we get through the rest of the packaging, but this has a very sturdy feel to it. It's just a very solid feeling mod, in my opinion. I really do like that about it. So we'll set that off to the side. And then for the rest of the packaging, you've got this little thing you can pull here, which is always nice. Grab that, that pops that out, and then you've got another piece to pull out. So we'll get that. And then here you go. You've got what appears to be some extra O-ringage, it looks like, in there. So set that off to the side. You've got your warranty card, so you can scratch that off to verify authenticity as well. Then you have the user manual for the VTC Mini with TRON. So this has everything in it that you would really need to know. It shows, how everything goes together, the basics of the device, kind of the menu system and how everything works there. So pretty comprehensive manual. That's always a nice touch. And then here is everything just kind of chilling, just loosey-goosey in the bottom of the package. So you've got the USB cable and then some coil heads. So we'll take a closer look at these in a minute. Grab that one and you get two of them. So there are both of those. And then here is the TRON atomizer. So matchy red. You can see very much matchy with the mods. So there you go. If you're into red, you're gonna love this. This is available in a lot of different colors, but I decided to change things up a bit and go with the red because I don't have anything red right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first, and then we'll get into the mod. All right, so this thing's pretty straightforward. You've got the drip tip on the top, appears to be 510, so that's pretty much just feels pretty plasticky. Set that off to the side there, and then this is kind of old school. It is bottom fill. So first off, this is your kind of your airflow control right here. You just spin it to close off or open the airflow, and it goes in down here along the side. So twist this off. And then you have your area to fill, kind of like I said, the old school style. Not my favorite in the world of the top fill, easier designs, but you do have a decent amount of space around there to be able to get in your juice. And then here is the base with the coil head. I believe the nickel coil head is installed currently in here, so I will unscrew that. And there's the nickel coil head. Looks like it is 0.2 ohms. That is incredibly small. And it doesn't have a wattage range recommendation on it anywhere, but it does have these like blue O-rings, so you know that that's what it is. You can see the juice flow holes on this are quite small on this particular device, but this is, you know, pretty much gearing more in that mouth to lung category, so that's not really surprising. This is the standard coil head right here, just a usual Canthal, I believe, on that one. And then that means this one is the titanium coil head. Yes, indeedy, titanium 0.4 ohms. Again, they all look very similar. They've got this kind of gap right here for the airflow. Quite a bit of the wires actually hanging out on this one, which is interesting. I don't know if that's that doesn't appear to be the case on any of the other ones, so I'm wondering if that's going to cause any kind of an issue with this head. Now it's sticking out on the standard one as well, so oh well. But yeah, those small juice flow holes are there once again, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of a screen in there as there was on the 1.0, but you can see that the airflow in there is bigger on the titanium than it is on the Canthal. So I'm actually going to use just the standard Canthal to actually test this bad boy out. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually I'm going to fill this tank with juice while I go through the rest of the features of the actual mod itself, which of course is the star of the show and probably a big reason why you would be looking at this particular starter kit. I'm going to be using some Blueberry Mount Pocono Vapes 50/50 juice on this one just because I don't want to put anything too thick in here with those juice flow holes being as small as they are. All right, so I've got her filled up. It wasn't the hardest thing in the world using a dropper bottle to do it, so I'm just gonna drop this in here. Normally I would prime the coil before I put it in, but there's gonna be some time that goes by between actually filling this thing up and kind of doing the vape thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this all back together and set this off to the side and check out the mod. Okay, so taking a look at the mod, we already kind of went over the outside of it, so you just pop that side off, and then you've got the positive and negative connections there. So put the positive up at the top, push in, that'll slide in, and then just boop, put your door on, and you're good to go, and boom, we're already booted up, and we are in temperature control mode, just kind of right off the bat there. All right, so 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off, the usual situation there. This is the main screen, so power 20 watts, volts 3.3. I don't know where it's getting that from because there's no coil in here, so it's reading 0 ohms, and amperage is obviously displayed there as well as the battery. Now, the fun thing about this particular device, it's pretty straightforward, you know, up and down as far as the power goes. If you hold it down, it does accelerate, goes up to 75 watts. That's a big plus with this particular mod. You do have quite a range on it considering the price, and I just love this screen situation here. So let's say we want to change some stuff on here. If you click, well, first off, let me show you how to do stealth mode. You're going to do the power down button and fire button, and that's going to put stealth mode on, so when you're actually vaping and you're holding this down, it's not going to light up the screen unless you just do a quick tap. But with no atomizer on there, I can't really demonstrate that because it has to actually be firing to show how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. If you want to lock the device, then you hold the up and down for wattage button there, and now your key lock is in place. And to obviously remove that, you would just do the same thing again, key unlock. Now here's where things get fun. 3 clicks, and now you're blinking at the top here. So now you can start cycling through stuff. So we've got power, bypass, and now we're in temperature control. So nickel, titanium, and 316 stainless steel. And then you have your TCR mode. So I'll show you how to get into that in a minute. But if you actually hit down, then that's going to allow you to continue to cycle through your different settings. So when you're actually in TCR and you click down, then you can use the plus to cycle through your 3 different memory modes on TCR. So I'm going to actually get us back to up here so that I can, let me just 3-click it again. Get us back to, let's say we're in nickel mode and we want to start messing around with things. This makes this really easy. You can actually change the wattage by just hitting that down button, and the wattage will be flashing now. So you can cycle through the wattage very, very easily just by being able to click down here and go in and do it that way. So there's no weird button combinations or anything like that to have to get into your wattage adjustment and temperature control. You have your coil resistance. You can lock that in here, but since there's nothing on there, there's really no locking to be done at the moment, but that is where you would lock the coil resistance. And then you can show amperage, you can show puff count, and you can show time that you've been vaping. So that's pretty cool. And it's just a really intuitive menu. I like how this is set up to be able to kind of adjust these things so easily. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, if you want to adjust your temperature, it's pretty much what you would expect. You just use the up and down controls. Nothing really unusual here either to switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit. You just get to the limitation of 1 and keep going, and then it goes down to the other. So this will go down to 200 Fahrenheit. Then if you keep going, you're back into Celsius and so on. So that's how you go back and forth between those settings. So I'm actually going to go into back into wattage mode because I'm just going to be using the standard coil. So I need to get there. But before I do that, I will show you the TCR settings. So in order to get into that menu, you've actually got to power down. With the device powered off, you're just going to hold down the up button for temperature or wattage and the power button until you get into the TCR menu. And now here you are, and you can cycle through your different presets using the down button. And then if you want to set one of them, or up and down buttons, if you want to set one, you just hit the fire button, and then that's going to take you into the settings. So this is handy, if you've got a different, type of stainless steel, or maybe you're trying to set something, a little bit unusual, you're not liking the preset that comes with this, you can go online and actually look up various TCR settings that are recommended for the particular wire or coil that you have going on in here. Now, the other thing you can do is hold down the power button or fire button and power down, and you're going to go and quickly get a reading on your battery, 4.13 volts. So that is pretty much it. We'll just power it back on, and we're ready to rock. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put the atomizer on here so we can see what it looks like all together. So there's the device all, kind of assembled and put together, matchy-matchy, looking pretty stylish. Like I said, this is a nice kind of starting point for someone really just getting into vaping. Go into more details on why I think that when we actually start vaping this. But you can see now that we are getting the readings that we need to know what to set. Now, this said it was a 1 ohm coil. It's reading 1.17. So obviously at 56.7 watts, we are way overshooting on this at 8 volts. So we're going to drop that down to, let's say, 14 watts. We'll get 4.05 volts, and I think that's where I'm going to have it set to go ahead and kind of take a vape off of this. But there you go. There's the completed kit. Time to vape. All right, so there you go. The eVic VTC Starter Kit with the TRON S tank. I did figure out that the version, it says on the back of the box, whether it has the TRON S or the TRON T tank, and the TRON S is the bottom fill or side fill as they're calling it, and TRON T is the top fill. where I'm assuming, you know, where this area is, where it looks like you should be able to unscrew the top, actually unscrews. So depending on your preference of style, you can get it either way. When we get to the pricing, I will point that out. But yeah, this is definitely a starter mouth to lung type of tank. And for people who are looking for that, that's great. Like I said, this is the 1 ohm coil, which is reading 1.17, and I am at 14 watts, which is giving me 4.05 volts. So decent vape. Not the greatest flavor in the world, but not bad. And if you put a high nic juice in here, this would be really good for somebody that's just coming off of smoking, that kind of still wants to have that throat hit and still wants to kind of have that tighter draw and feel. I do have the airflow all the way open, but I mean, it's still pretty darn tight, even all the way open. Let me take it up a little bit more. We'll go up to 16 watts. That's 4.33 volts. Decent amount of vapor, like I said, from mouth to lung. It's at 16 watts. And the funny thing is, the included tank that comes with this mod doesn't push this mod anywhere near its limits whatsoever. I mean, we're at 16 watts on a 75 watt mod. But that's why I said this is a starter kit you can grow into. If you're just getting into vaping and, you know, you want somebody, somebody that's going to want that tight draw, use a higher nic juice, that kind of thing, this is a good starting point. It does come with the temperature control coils. I'm not using those because I don't really care for temperature control all that much. But let me take it up one more level, and then we will switch out to a different tank and kind of show you why I think this is a nice starter kit. This is at 18 watts, 4.6 volts. That's a little much for it. I think 16 watts was pretty much the sweet spot for it on that 1 ohm coil. But it does take me back to the days of the Nautilus and that kind of thing, and that's actually what got me off of smoking. So the tank that comes included, it's really just kind of in there as the kind of a freebie almost, in my opinion, because it's the mod that really sells this for me. So say you're somebody that's just getting started and you're kind of done with the mouth to lung thing and you want to graduate up to something else like a top tank or something like that. You can, because you have plenty of room to grow as far as the wattage goes with this. It is a nice feeling mod. It is solid. It's easy to understand. It's easy to use. The screen is incredibly easy to read. Everything about this is just really pleasant, in my opinion. I've got this in black, white, and now the red version. So I really like these. I take this with me a lot. This is my travel mod. A lot of times this and the Pico are kind of, I trade them off when I'm on the road. They're both 75 watt devices. They both do temperature control, which I never use. But let's switch it out. Let's take the included TRON tank off, which I will probably never use again. I'll probably actually give this to my dad and set that off to the side. Actually, I'm going to put it somewhere where it's not going to fall down and trade spots for the Heracles V2, the mini version of the Heracles Plus. So I've got the Heracles Plus coil in here. This tank likes to be around 60 to 70 watts. So now I can put that on there, and of course it's, you know, not matching like the red TRON tank was, but I still like this red mod. It's just different. So I'm gonna crank the watts up here to, I believe I was at 64 when I was vaping this earlier, but that's reading a little high on this one, so I might kick it back to 62. That's giving me 5.1 volts with a 0.42 ohm resistance. And now you can go from that little teeny mouth to lung, tight, draw, little starter kit kind of feel and draw to graduating up to something more. Now you've got a sub-ohm tank. And you can use all kinds of different stuff on here. 22 millimeter atomizers fit on here just fine without going over the edges. 24 is going to hang over a bit. But if you wanted to step up to, say, the Heracles Plus, which, I really recommend. I really like the Arctic V8 with the Tiger coils. That's another good option to put on here. The Crown and Crown 2, which, Crown 2 is kind of controversial, but those tanks may hang over just a little bit because they're slightly larger than 22 at the base. But yeah, this is just great because you can upgrade to something like the Heracles V2 or Heracles Plus or what have you. So yeah, that's really nice. And that's what I like about this starter kit and what I really liked about all of the starter kits, actually. All three of them that I looked at, the iStick Pico, the Top Tank, Top Box or whatever the heck it was called from Kanger, the Top Box starter kit, and this one will all go up to 75 watts. You can grow with all three of them, but if you're going to pick one that's going to be a mod that I think you're really going to like, I'd say it's probably a tie between this and the Pico, but of all three of them, this is actually my favorite mod of all three of the starter kits. So you kind of got to ask yourself, what are you looking for to start more than anything else? If you're looking to start with something that's just mouth to lung, and then you want to have a really good mod after you kind of graduate up, this is the way to go. Going in the other direction, if you're looking for a really nice sub-ohm experience right out of the box, then I would say go for the iStick Pico, because that Milo 3 mini tank that comes with it is really nice. It does take a while for the coils to get primed in that tank, so be aware of that. I've had a couple people messaging me that they're getting kind of a burnt taste. It just takes a while, even if you prime them, for those coils to kind of get rocking in that Milo tank for whatever reason. That means the Kanger kind of sits there alone by itself. I'd say it's kind of the weakest link of the three I looked at, in my opinion, but you may really like the Top Tank design. You may really have been a huge sub-tank fan, so that would be a good option for you. But in my book, this is the way to go. Now, I'm going to pull up some pricing here, and this is actually out of stock a lot of places, and it's been that way for a long time. These things come in and out of stock a lot. I think they're pretty in demand as far as they go, because looking at Element Vape, you can get this starter kit for $44.95. So you get a really nice mod and then a tank to get started for $44.95. And let's see, they are out of stock on the majority of their colors, though, is the problem. You can get it in black, cyan, gold, gray, red, and white. Right now, Element Vape only has the gold in stock, but heading over to Vapor DNA, $59.99 over there, they actually let you choose all kinds of different stuff. You can do, they're down to just gold and red as far as their stock goes. However, you can select the S or T, so this bottom fill or the top fill version of the TRON tank, and they're both the same price. So just look around, but this thing seems to hover somewhere around 50 to 60 bucks to get you started. And there are different variations of this that I have seen that come with some other different tanks as well. But really the star of the show here is the mod. And like I said, if you're just getting started, I think this is a good way to go, because you're going to keep this mod around for a long time. I have had this eVic VTC Mini, the black version of it, for months and months and months and months. And I took it to work with me and took it in the car, took it all over the place. Kind of got replaced by the Pico for a while just because, changed things up. But I really do think this is a solid feeling, nice mod with a great screen and an easy to use system. And that's why I would recommend it if you're really just getting started and you want something you can grow into. All right, it's advocacy time again, and you know the drill. It is August8th.org. It's coming up August 8th. The Deeming FDA regulations are getting closer and closer and closer, and they will take away the majority of the vape technology and vape gear we have available to us right now, over 99% more than likely, because anything made after 2007, early 2007 at that, will pretty much be screwed. So what can you do? Well, go to CASAA.org, go to the August8th.org, and you will find all kinds of resources on how you can help and how you can do something to help save the vaping industry as it is today, because we need to keep these harm reduction devices available to those of us who have quit smoking, like myself and my family, and there's still millions of people out there that we need to help make sure that these are available to them as a way and a means of harm reduction. So go on CASAA, find your representatives, send them a message. They make it super easy. They have canned messages that you can tweak if you want to. You can look up, who the people are you need to contact. Make sure to let them know that you want them to support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment so that we can get that predicate date moved from 2007 up to present day, so that we can make sure that these devices are still available for us in the future. You vote, you vape, so make sure you make that clear and do your part to help make sure that we fight for our right to vape. All right, well, if you enjoyed this video, I do hope that you will click on that subscribe button. You can also follow me on my social media channels on Twitter and Instagram at ctownvapes. And then you can also shoot me an email if you have a long question, concern, comment, what have you, at ctownvapes@gmail.com. And you know the drill. Don't be a stranger. Check back soon and vape on.